All right, welcome back. We are at day 2 of the Rift mountain bike stage race, stage 2. We're going to do a quick course description and then we're going to jump into how our races went. So, pretty similar to yesterday's stage, only like 2 miles longer total, but about the same amount of climbing. The first half of the course was mostly climbing, but the climbs were punchier, which made it different. And then we climbed a little bit higher up the mountain before we started descending. And then the first bit of the descent was like super cool, like open with just a bunch of rocks everywhere, twisty, turny. So it was cool that we were in the same area. We pretty much ended at the same area as yesterday, but totally different terrain than what we rode down yesterday.
Then, yeah, first descent, supernatural, a bit more consistently technical, I would say. So there's less like big features, but it was all kind of picky, rocky stuff. Maddie had a couple of moments, but nothing as severe as yesterday.
Severe.
Yeah, no like major, I need to get off for this kind of stuff. Just like sketchy moments, but we got down, didn't we?
That descent was okay. I would say you guys were saying it was fun. There was like high stakes. Like there was a big drop on the left. Like when you got to the top and you started descending down, there were points where, and I actually said at one point, I was like, slow down, Tom. I am on my limit because it was like so sketchy. And then there was a climb. There was a really steep climb, and then there was a long climb, and some of that we did yesterday. And then we finished with some actually quite this was the bit I struggled with most today. There was this like technical bit before we did the same forest single track that we did yesterday. There was this like technical section that was like very natural, rocky, steep.
Very steep. Woods.
Yeah.
But different from yesterday, but it was very steep.
Very
we
steep.
keep saying the word natural, and I've never used that word to describe a mountain bike course. But that
it's
kind
like
of
man-made or
it kind of was. It was kind of felt like somebody just went through there and hacked it like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, someone just went through the woods and we'll make these cyclists go down these steep trails.
The kind of trails where you can't really let the brakes go because you'll soon get too much speed and you'll soon start sliding out. So you've got like both brakes on, leaning right back and just nursing it down, picking the right line. And yeah, kind of for me personally, constantly thinking, can Maddie ride this or not? And there's
literally the same thought, but with Chase.
Yeah.
I was like, if I'm scared, Chase is double scared.
Yeah. And there was a few sections actually where it takes me as long I need to be in the section before I've decided if Maddie can ride it or not. And sometimes it's too late. So I just don't say anything and just hope, fingers crossed, that she can get down. And like fair play to Maddie, she got down a lot that I didn't think she would get down. So
I'm just gonna say I didn't think I'd get down it either. I just kind of like prayed and just like got my butt back. And yeah, there were a couple of times we got to the bottom, and I think Tom actually turned to me and went, fair play, at the bottom of one of them.
Yes. No, I literally same exact thing with Chase. I was like, wow, you did that. That was good. Me and my high post was like in my belly a couple times.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Gosh, I didn't even think
know.
about that.
And it was like, I literally like didn't think I was going to have to do that on this trip. And it was like full on in my belly, my butt. It was like
my butt nearly hit my back wheel at one point.
Mine too, except for my saddle was in my chest. Yeah, it was not good. That only happened like twice. So, and then we finished on the same bit of trail as last year. So, or yesterday.
It was harder than yesterday.
Yeah, because we're more tired, Maddie.
And the lighting was hard.
Yes. So then, because we're more tired. That's what I thought. And then, so how did y'all's race play out? How'd you do today? Same, better?
So similar in terms of the play out, in terms of great climbing, not so great descending as we'd expect. But actually, I think overall we did better because yesterday we got to the top of the climb, the ski resort, in the same position we got to today. But then yesterday, everyone passed us in the descent and we never saw them again. Today, we overtook them again. They did then overtake us back again on the next descent. And then I think some of them we got a third time. And then they overtook us again on the descent. But we were like yo-yoing with 3 pairs who yesterday just passed us on the descent. So I think this is improvement from our end. Yeah, so like we would basically overtake people on any kind of gravel climb. There wasn't a road climb today, there was a big gravel climb.
Yeah. Right.
That was pretty long and pretty steep.
That bit where you turn and it was literally straight up and you could see the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was
I was
very
like,
hot.
you got it. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Like, just morally kills you.
It
when
was
it's
very
just
hot.
Straight up.
I was like sweating like crazy
Yeah,
up there.
'cause we had already been climbing for a bit
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
I think it was not mentioned in the course preview, but there was also a whole bunch of kids that we had to bike around
Yes.
throughout a
Okay,
lot of
did
the
you
day.
guys get loads of high fives? Are you going too fast?
I gave on the first group we saw, I high-fived them all. I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we high fived so many. Like
That's
I got
awesome.
like what was hard was when you have both sides and they both wanted high fives. I was like, I can't go no handed with the high fives.
Yeah.
I was like picking which side.
That's awesome. So yeah, so you guys ended up about the same as yesterday total at the end of the day.
Actually, we were ahead of one pair who we sprint finished to the line.
Oh,
I think we were ahead, yeah. And then our time gaps were less. So like we lost less time on the people in front of us, and then we did finish ahead of one pair who beat us yesterday. Not in our category, 2 guys, and yeah, we had a sprint four up sprint.
We saw that actually. Me and him were riding on the bike path right next to you when we saw you guys sprinting in. That was pretty cool. A 4-up sprint, which is actually
Yeah.
only a 2-up sprint because it's a 2-person. It's
It's
just
the slowest of the 2
Yeah.
partners, isn't it?
pretty much.
But we came first and second in the sprint.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The final road wasn't as nice a tailwind. It was a bit more
Oh,
of a
it
headwind,
felt
wasn't
so
it?
much harder
Yeah, it
today.
did,
The
yeah.
last, I was like, we're gonna nuke the trail, and then today he actually took a couple turns
Yeah.
because I started
Needed
to
it.
fade a little. Yeah, it was good. And then our day was a little bit harder on the climbing, so it kind of was different today. Like we struggled a little bit on the climb, so those 2 guys who beat us yesterday got away from us at the top of the climb. I was with them, and I was on the verge of like I could just stay in front of them and clog it up on the downhill, but like the little nice Drew on this shoulder was like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I was afraid that he was more than 2 minutes back, and I'm like, I don't want to break the rules and like hold these guys up. So I let them go, waited for him, and then I paced him kind of down the hill, which I think was good. Because at that point I was thinking they've already put some time into us and they're probably gonna put more time into us on the downhill, but like they didn't. Like by the time we got to the finish, they only put maybe another 30 seconds into us on the whole downhill. And so like that basically means we did, as far as technically goes, we rode just about as good as them. They just climbed a little better than us today.
Yeah, we took there was a dam or a stream that we crossed, and I hit lap on my Garmin, and the gap was 2:30, and then I think we lost like 2:40, 2:45 today.
Yeah.
So that was a good indicator, and I think, yeah, we just applied what we learned from yesterday that, okay, maybe I also raced with a GoPro today, so I could get some footage of Drew, and I didn't have to go in front to make cool footage. So,
We went significantly faster on the same trail we rode yesterday, so we can like apples to apples comparison, and I think we went quite a bit faster through there because I was leading.
Arguably,
So
it's harder today as well with the lighting and
Oh,
the
yeah,
tiredness.
yeah.
So that makes it big difference. I think there's two elements. I think of the pair, the slower descender, in my opinion, should go second
Yeah.
because the person in front can call out features. So
Mhm.
if there's like a very obvious right hand side line that's better, you can call that out early so the other person knows. And then B, well, generally it's easier to follow because you don't have to think about what's next. You just follow a target and you're thinking about what's in front of you, aren't you? So
Yeah.
I think
And you can kind of hear. I'm assuming he could hear me when I was braking, and
Yeah.
like if I go skidding through a turn, he hears that, and he's like, "Oh snap, I gotta slow down." Total GC, we're like a little over between 4 and 5 minutes back from the guys ahead of us, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to bring some of that back. Oh, your favorite part, actually, favorite part of the race?
I'll answer it for you.
Yeah.
Surely the first like 5 minutes up that road.
I actually don't think so.
Really?
Oh,
I was gonna say the really technical bit where I surprised everyone
Yeah,
by
total
riding it.
opposite.
nice.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, that's the hardest thing I've ever ridden.
yeah,
And that was like so satisfying.
yeah. And when we got to the finish, the 2 guys ahead of us said they both crashed on it.
Wow.
They ran into a tree, and neither one of us crashed. So it was like, oh, we did that. We did thumbs up through that section. We did good. Yeah.
That's satisfying for me to hear that you enjoyed that as well. I thought you'd just be like in complete fear the whole time.
I would say my favorite part was, I don't know, all the kids cheering was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would say my lowest point was up the climb when Drew was with those guys. I'm like, I know he's like hopefully slowing them down or like trying to anchor them, but at the same time I'm just like this sucks so much that I'm the one making us lose time right now. And then in my head I'm like, we're gonna bleed so much time on the downhill too. So I was like, dang it, like I'm just letting us down. But then I'd say after all that like first rougher section downhill, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm getting more and more confident on the downhill. Following Drew, like we're ripping now. So
I think controversially, my favorite bit wasn't a descent today, which I probably had more fun overall on one of the descents, but actually a moment which was nice was right near the top as we were still climbing. So we went past where the highest point we got to yesterday. We're still climbing, super steep. But there was a point where we were going up the side of a valley, only 200 meters before the end, and all you could see was sky. I don't know if you remember this. And there was a massive drop to the right-hand side, and all you could see was sky, and we just kept going up and up and up, and I was thinking, where is this going to end? But it was like incredibly hard because it was steep and rocky and horrible, but I almost felt like I was at the top of the world at that point. It was just so far down, and I had a moment just to look across and see this vast landscape, and it was absolutely amazing, the scenery.
Wow. Tom always brings it back down to earth. You know, like, he's like, don't forget to look around.
I also looked around, maybe cost me a second or two, but I was like, wow, we are like it felt like the edge of the top of a mountain almost.
Yeah. And then last question, was there anything cool, scary, or interesting worth noting that happened throughout the day?
When I thought I had to catch you when you were sliding down on your bum.
You slid down on your bottom.
No, I actually did manage to walk, but I like shouted saying there was one bit that was so steep. So I'd just done like back to back. There were maybe 3 really steep bits, and I'd done all 3, and I was like getting really confident. And then I hit like the 4th, and I was just like, absolutely not. Like this has crossed a line.
Yeah.
And I just went, can't do it. And then Tom just shouted back, do you want me to come and try and catch you?
Oh my gosh.
Because you know when it's like so steep that you can't even get your foot in.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
and I was like, is she just gonna come barreling down?
Yeah.
While it's in my mind, and you've already touched on it, but the cool thing I thought was, again, the kids that were like clapping us. I can count 5 or 6 different parts where there was kids absolutely going for it, like clapping. In the UK, you wouldn't get that much enthusiasm. It's almost like seen as like uncool to like cheer someone on in that scenario, unless they're like true cycling fans, I guess. But every single one of those school kids was like cheering, high-fiving, clapping, getting involved. And the faces, you could see that they loved it. And it was a really like heartwarming moment, I thought.
And also just like they were in the middle of the forest in like random locations.
Yes.
Like I don't think we've acknowledged that. We weren't like cycling through a town. We were like on a forest trail, and suddenly there were like 20 kids.
Yeah, I feel like they just got more and more remote. The first time it was like, okay, like the parking lot was a few K back. Like I was still like, where are they going? And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know if there was a little schoolhouse we biked by or what was at the top of that hill at one point, but like I was kind of confused. I'm just like, we're at the top of a mountain right now. Like, how did they get there? How did you get here? Yeah.
Nothing interesting happened for me. I think I did have more fun leading on the downhills. I felt like, I don't know, instead of just like being behind you and not really offering any assistance, me being in front, I was like, okay, I'm helping him. So like even just that little bit of like, this is better.
I had more fun following you because I knew, I was like, okay, if Drew can ride some of this really steep stuff with a high post, like I probably can because I have the exact same setup but bigger tires. So in my head I'm like, I have a better bike than he does for this, so I should be able to, even if my skills are not as good.
I think ultimately I'd be confident to say Maddie can ride virtually all the trails. However, the main and you might not be able to like agree with me here, Maddie, but one thing that you can control is your speed and your approach. And I think that's sometimes like we'll go into a section with a bit too much speed or confidence, and I kind of check up, and actually if you just really slow it down and pick the right line, you can get down, and that is still a lot faster than getting off. But sometimes remembering that and just slowing down enough to navigate it properly and not overshoot it or not slide out makes all the difference. And that's what I've been like learning today. Is just how much more control you get when you just take a little bit of speed off.
Cool. All right. Well,
Excited for tomorrow because guess what, guys?
it's a gravel stage.
It's less technical. I actually think this is going to be our stage.
Yeah, the other guys literally said like, we're afraid of what you guys are going to do tomorrow. They said that to me on the climb, and I was like, good. I'm glad that you guys are thinking that. Cool.
That's cool.
See you guys tomorrow.
See ya.
I'm gonna kiss her. She's got a tooth in there.